Hi, I'm Art, your host of Cigar Time, and welcome back to our Tuesday night show all about cigars. And let me introduce our esteemed panel. To my right, we have Rob.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
To his right, we have Paul.
Howdy.
Can't top that. To his right, we have Scott.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
All right, this is one up from I can't wait to hear what comes out of Tia's mouth.
Hi.
Well put.
Less is more.
Why did I know that was coming?
Oh, man.
And we also have our two lovely cigar babes with us this evening, the lovely Teresa and the lovely Miss Caroline, who will be serving up our cigars and cutting them for most of us.
Yes. Thank you. You know just how I like it, girl. Thank you. She knows how I like it. Uncut.
I know how you like it too.
Yes. Thank you very much.
You like it uncut?
Yeah, uncut.
Okay.
Uncut.
Use your imagination.
Are you cleaning that with alcohol after you use
This
it?
is mine.
Oh,
Yes, my
I
personal.
see. I
I can do whatever
Thank
I
you very
want.
much.
Okay.
Again, I like the soft flame. Slowly
Well, thank you very much.
toasting it.
Don't forget our
Some of
mystery
these cigars
smoker.
become so big. Like, why don't they make them
take
a
care
little
of me.
smaller? Like,
Well,
They
this one
do.
they don't. No,
not in
do
this
make
one,
it.
right?
no, this one's a very
Yeah, like
large
lately,
gauge.
a lot of the cigars
They
coming
make-
out are really big.
Oh, God. Bigger is better.
Bigger is better.
It is.
Not all
It
the
really is.
time.
You should check
And they're
out
getting-
the 80 ring.
They're getting thicker, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
Some of them aren't that long, but they're getting thicker.
They are getting
girth
thicker.
is good.
Girth is good.
I wonder why they're doing
Okay.
that.
I don't
That's how
like
you
a
smoke
thicker.
it.
Seriously, I don't like it. I don't really like the thicker cigars.
Well, I don't think we were
Yeah.
asking your opinion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We were talking from a woman's perspective.
See you
No,
later.
never mind. Let's not go
Where are you
there.
going?
I think it's time for Miss Tia to introduce
Oh,
our cigar tonight.
Okay, our only cigar is going to be the St. Louis Ray SLR Generation 2. Actually, a fun fact about that, they got the name because they said for all the knowledge they passed down through generation. So I guess it's the second generation making this cigar. So the wrapper is an Ecuadorian Sumatra, the binder is Nicaraguan, and the filler is Nicaraguan. And Honduran, can't forget Honduran. The sizes are Robusto, Toro, and Titan. And the taste profile, I think we are different on this one, but it's bold notes of leather and dried fruit, also hints of earth, caramel, and chocolate. Caramel like me.
Sounds good, at least.
Sounds like a candy store.
It does.
Let's see if it smokes
I
like
might
that.
also add, another name for Titan is Gordo.
Gordo, I know, my
I figured
favorite.
you would like that.
Thank you.
Our
I
first
feel like
topic.
Gordo better though.
I
don't know
know.
why.
Our first topic this evening is why age a cigar and what's the best way to age a cigar. I think I'll let Rob take it.
Wow. Thank you. Wow, really?
Tired of carrying
Well,
this
you
show.
need
I'm
some-
tired of carrying the show.
You need some star time.
Yeah, no, I don't.
For those of you who
No,
are
I
Rob's friends, this is the appropriate time to get on him.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Take it away.
Or go to the bathroom.
The reason to age a cigar is to let all the tobaccos marry with each other to get the best possible taste from a cigar. That's basically why I would age a cigar.
Also, over time, the oils start to rise to the surface of the cigar.
You get
Right.
And they get into the, that's where you get the plume. I think we have
Plume,
talked
right.
about that. But
Yeah.
and you get most of the flavors from the cigar from the wrapper. So the oils in the cigar will go to the wrapper, and that's
Doesn't
where
the
the
wrapper
flavors are.
change when you age your cigar? Does it change a
Well,
little bit in
It
color?
all changes. And one of the things that people don't think about, and this is a lot like aging wine, oxygen
Right.
interacts with all of the chemicals that occur naturally in a cigar. So over time, as oxygen mixes with some of those chemicals, the flavors open up and bloom.
Right.
I think they smooth out too, because I think they're still the wrapper's just a little bit wet, so it's easy to work with.
It's ammonia.
Yeah,
first-
and when you
first
when you
roll.
wet it, it brings the tobacco back to life. So what happens is the tobacco starts to release a little bit of ammonia, and the longer you let it sit, the more ammonia gets released to a certain point, and then it just becomes a smoother cigar.
Yeah. It's just like wine. The older it gets, the better it gets.
Absolutely. As
So,
long as it's
so
properly-
if I want to enjoy
as long as it's
if I want to
properly
enjoy a
done.
pepin, I should age it, huh?
I must be at my peak then.
Yeah.
Because it never
Okay.
mild out the pepperness, right? That I don't like. Would that mild that flavor out?
Yeah.
If
it'll
I
smooth
aged
out.
it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if a person wants to age, change the taste a little bit so it's not so strong, would you recommend aging it then?
Aging mellows a cigar for sure.
Yeah.
Sadly, aging does not make a bad cigar good.
Better. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's right.
It might make it a little better than it starts out, but it's not going to turn it into a great cigar.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about, how do you age a cigar besides let it sit there and don't let it dry out?
Well, that's a key thing, not to let it dry out.
Right, yes.
Because you need a really, really good humidor or really good storage facility.
Yeah.
That's why in certain countries, especially like England, they have shops that are called laying down shops. And that's the term they use,
I was
laying
going to
down.
ask about that, because you've talked about that, and I don't know that I completely understand what that is.
What
They
they
have couches.
Yeah.
And you lay
You lay down. take a
that,
nap, yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
about.
No, some of the large English tobacconists, of which some of them date back hundreds of years, have special rooms which are, very expensively heated, cooled, and as well as humidified. They have certain cycles where the temperature and the humidity go up and down, just to give, just a general keeping of the flavors and keeping of the texture and keeping of all the things that go into a cigar. And over long periods of time, they typically keep them in the boxes. The laying down process usually involves keeping them stored in the boxes where they all meld together. And it is really the finest way. And most laying down shops won't even sell a box or rent out space for your box unless you're going to keep it for 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So our lockers, right, which are
Lockers
well
work the
climate
same way.
perfect.
They're climate
You know,
controlled.
our
Yep.
members
Yep.
could age them
Yep.
in our store.
Yeah,
And one
exactly.
of the things you should do is every once in a while, maybe once a year, take a cigar out, try it, jot down some notes, and then a year later, take another one.
You
and
want to see how it develops.
see how it develops and see how it changes.
Never
And
thought about
because
that.
different cigars will age differently.
Yeah.
But would you do it with the same, not the same cigar, but the same brand cigar?
No,
or-
the same. No, the out of the same box.
Oh, I'll say
Yeah.
box.
Now, what about turning? I've heard turning a cigar. What does that do?
For my money, the way I used to do it when I would come back from Cuba,
Legally.
Legally,
I might add,
yeah.
and I don't want to put any knock against our English tobacconist friends, but when I was able to bring back many boxes of cigars, back when you could do that, you were allowed to do that, I would age them in the boxes. I would leave them sealed in the boxes, not break the seal, leave them sealed, and I'd put them in these oversized Tupperwares that would hold 15 or 20 boxes, and I would put a brick of Flores foam, the green Flores foam, and I would keep pouring distilled water over it every so often, and I would keep a hygrometer, so I could a electronic hygrometer, I might add, so I could measure the temperature, and I would keep them usually in the playroom of my home, which was below grade,
Right.
so it was a little cooler down there, and then once or twice a week I would crack the box, let some oxygen in, because you have to.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you'll get the rainforest effect.
So you will get mold.
Well,
You will get mold.
get mold,
you'll
yeah.
get mold,
Yeah.
or that
Yeah.
little bit of extra ammonia that
Ammonia,
you were
right,
talking
that's
about.
correct.
You
'Cause
have
you're
to
not
vent
letting it
that,
release.
otherwise
Yeah.
the cigar's just going to reabsorb it.
I used to crack it once or twice a week. Now, of course, there are better methods today. This is a while back. There's better methods than Flores foam in a large container, but that's another story. We'll save that for another day. But in the days when I was bringing back the Cubans, a lot of the years, the crops, for a lot of reasons, they weren't producing the finest cigars, but by aging them as long as I did in most cases, they really brought out the peak flavors in them, and they were really then worth the money and worth, all the time and travel to get them. I wasn't going to Cuba just for cigars. As a matter of fact, that was just an afterthought, actually. Well, maybe more than an afterthought. And I'd have a lot of relatives and friends with me who didn't smoke, so you could figure out how that worked.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to bring back, they allowed us to bring back 4 boxes of cigars, and I always brought back cabinets of 50 and a bottle of rum. That was usually what they allowed, and of course, unlimited books or manuscripts. But that's how I did it.
Speaking about aging Cuban cigars in particular, and this applies to some other cigars as well, but when you go about the process of aging, stopping short is a huge mistake. There's actually a long period of time that they call the sick period.
Yeah, to eat weeping. Yeah.
When a cigar will taste absolutely horrendous, no matter what cigar it is,
Right.
unless you age it past that point.
Yeah, but
'Cause it's still
Paul,
giving off
nowadays,
things.
most of the major cigar manufacturers don't let them out of the factory
Until they're past the sick period.
This isn't something you really have to worry about. If you buy cigars fresh off a table, or if you go to certain places in Miami or Key West where they manufacture cigars and you buy them fresh from the roller stand, if you don't smoke them within a few days, then you got to set them down for 9 months to a year, or you will be what they call in the trade the weeping stage, where the cigars will leach ammonia, not taste very good, and you'll feel like you've been robbed. But by laying those down, you know, you'll get a special treat. Some of those small manufacturers really make very tasty cigars. So,
do you, if you're specifically aging the cigar, do you recommend leaving it in the cellophane or taking it out?
I like
if it's a cellophane cigar.
Well, I always used to try to age them sealed in a box. So whatever they came in, and of course most Cubans didn't have cellophane on.
Exactly right.
Now today, most American manufacturers, you know, put cellophane on them to protect them in the humidors from people handling them and everything else. And even though we like what we call nude cigars, because we think they look the most beautiful.
They look a lot better.
Yeah, they do look a lot better. But most manufacturers put cello on them. I personally would age them without the cello. If you're taking them out of the box and putting them into your humidor, I would take the cello off. That's just my own personal preference. I don't think the cello adds anything once they're in your possession and they're in your humidor. I don't think the cello adds a thing.
How about some people think if you have two cigars next to each other and they start to taste like each other?
I find that not to be true.
Maybe an acid next to or something.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Cigars, yeah.
But they don't belong in your humidor.
Yeah,
anyway.
well, that's
Well, I know. I'm just saying, you know, but it could change because, you know, it's so strong.
Look, I have a very dear friend of mine who has been with me many, many times to Cuba, and he buys the finest cigars down there. And as you all know, I have friends in the Cuban tobacco business down there who hand select the finest cigars. And he takes them out of the box, puts them in his humidor, and he takes a glass of rum, good rum I might add, but rum, and he lays them in with the cigars. He's got like a 100-count humidor, and he ages them with the rum. You know, every time I see him do it, I want to shoot myself. But he likes it. And again, cigar smoking is what you like.
It's very personal.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's all personal.
So don't, no matter what's said, whether it be here or anywhere else, you do what you like. You do what gives you the most taste and the most enjoyment of a cigar.
Just don't light your cigar with a candle.
No, don't light it with a candle, or try not to light it with a Zippo, because that's gas, and that taste will get into the cigar.
That's true.
Well, speaking of candles and everything, I think we ought to talk about Christmas. Since this show,
Christmas, yeah.
it's only a few weeks to go before Christmas.
Hanukkah, candles?
Well, candles, but don't
Light it with a.
Yeah, you light candles on
Festivus.
Hanukkah.
They are pretty
Festivus,
candles.
Yeah.
For the rest
Can't
of us.
forget about that.
Festivus, yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, they didn't have light bulbs, so they used on the Christmas trees like real candles. So I remember
A little
that.
dangerous.
They didn't have.
Well, every other house burned down, but
So you must have been popular with the fire department.
very popular.
That
Very
was the way it was done.
Yeah, it
My
was.
father.
See, I'm right.
Again.
That's the mystery.
That's our mystery. That's our mystery
Mystery
man.
smoker.
One
Father
day,
was born
one
in the
day we're
early-
going to have him on camera, and we're going to see what he really looks like.
I'm
Face
afraid.
the radio.
Be afraid.
I suspect he might wear a dress, although I don't know that.
What was he saying?
My father, it's the way they put lights on their Christmas tree when he grew up. They were candles. They had a clip that went on the tree, and if you've ever seen a candle that has like a metal flashing background,
Right.
that went back against the tree. And then they put little candles in them that look similar to the candles
Yeah, I
off of
told
a
you.
birthday cake, but slightly larger.
I told you. I
Brave
knew
man
it.
right there.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Boy, that's a house
how
fire
they did it.
waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
Speaking of house fires, I think it's time for our next segment.
Well, we didn't finish talking about Christmas and all the
Goodies.
yeah.
Well, that was my next segment. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, go ahead then.
thanks for bailing me out on that one.
You're welcome.
Okay, all 7 of our stores are going to have pre-Christmas specials. And since today is, the first week in December or so, you've got about a week or 10 days to get outstanding buys on not only cigars, but humidors, lighters, cutters, and all cigar toys and accessories. So, rush on in, or if you don't know where we're at, and I would hope by now you would, but just in case you don't, our website will tell you everything and then some. And that website is cccigars.com. That's
doublezcigars.com.
Love that,
Wow.
Miss
I
Lisa.
love that. Yeah.
You got it right.
That's when you did get it right.
So please, rush into your local and your closest cigar store and load up for Christmas. We are really beating the band this Christmas.
Especially in Reading. Come on down.
Especially
You
in
can
Reading.
always see me
Go
at
to
the
Reading.
store. Yes. Come
Now
down
it's
to Reading.
time for our next installment of Paul in the Factory. Are you up to sweeping the floors yet, or are you still out at cigars?
That comes next.
Okay.
Actually,
Whoa.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. This is great service.
oh, that's much better than Paul in the Factory.
That was
I'm
good,
telling
yeah.
you.
Well, last time we were into quality control, and the rollers were measuring the ring gauge with a
Thank you.
steel ring, which is actually why it's called ring gauge,
Really?
because they're measured with a metal ring.
Oh, cool.
You know what might be quickly explain what ring gauge means.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Thank you.
Ooh.
the rules
But
of
you want me to
64.
do it.
Oh,
Yes.
you're burning your cup.
It's the ring gauge of a cigar. When you hear a cigar is 7 inches long by 50,
Holy mackerel.
just as an example.
A Churchill.
A 50 ring gauge means it is 50 64ths of an inch
Is that
in
like
diameter.
25, 30 seconds?
It's kind of like that.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
So basically, a 64 ring gauge cigar is 1 inch in diameter. And reducing by 64ths gives you the number that.
Very good.
Okay?
Okay.
So that.
Now you may continue.
They measure the ring gauge of the cigar to make sure that they're accurate. And then they do a step which I always found kind of interesting. They take 50 cigars at a time and they weigh them. And the reason that they weigh them is one of the ways to measure the quality of a cigar is to be sure that it has the right amount of tobacco in it. That means that it's going to draw right. That means that it's not going to be plugged. It means it's not going to be too loose and soft. And it also allows them to make sure that they stuck properly to the blend. So they have a target weight for 50 cigars. And if it's high or low, those cigars aren't right. And once again, the bad boys will stick another name on it and sell it for cheap, and the good guys will take it apart and make a new cigar. So you have quality control. Now you have cigars, but they don't have a band, they don't have a box, they don't have a label, they don't have anything.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
The band.
The band.
Man.
Actually, putting a band on a cigar is a more complicated process than you might think.
I've done it. It's a pain in the butt.
Usually in the factories, they have a little rack that measures where the band is supposed to be, because the proper method is one band width down from the bottom, from the top,
Right.
sorry, from the head.
See, I told you, I learn something new from you every week. I didn't know that.
And of course, uniformity is very important. There's few things uglier to a cigar guy than opening a box of cigars and the bands are all in different
Absolutely.
spots.
That's true.
So they put it on this rack, and it's got a movable gauge that tells the person that puts the bands on exactly where to put it for that cigar. The band has to be tight. You don't want it sliding up and down the cigar. You don't want the glue pulling wrapper leaf off of the
No,
cigar.
I hate that.
And you don't want it pinching the cigar either. So getting the band on just right is an art form of its own. And that's almost always done by women.
Why? We got little hands.
They have better
I
touch.
have big hands.
They're nimble.
So I don't think I can do
Nimble
it.
sounds good.
They're nimble. I know in Cuba, the process for grading and sorting the cigars is done by 6 men sitting around a table. And they just basically throw the cigars on there, and they sort them. And it's done so fast you can barely see it. They reject some, they sort some by color, by length, and it's just an amazing process.
Don't women normally do the...
No,
They do the sorting of the leaf,
leaf.
before the
The
cigar is
in
rolled.
Cuba,
Oh, okay.
the many times I've seen it done were always men.
Really?
Yeah, because I saw the transition from mostly men in the rolling galleries to about 50-50. The lectors in every factory I've been in, the lectors, which were the readers of poetry or the news or whatever, while the people were working, were all men as well.
Yeah.
So, you know. But Cuba was one of the earliest countries of the cigar growing and cigar rolling countries that utilized women. They just, in my time of going there, it was still about 50-50. Now I think it is mostly women.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, when the cigars are all made, and they might be banded already, they age the cigars, and Art, this is something that you mentioned before. Most of the good cigar factories these days will age their cigars in the factory before they'll even ship them out.
Right.
Yeah, in Cuba, they had these huge cedar cloth, like chest, upright chest, huge upright chest. And I noticed, the funny part, you bring this up, towards the late 90s, they weren't doing that. They were shipping them out. They weren't laying them down on the cedar chest. Then I knew the quality had gone.
Wow.
There's nothing, very little in cigardom more beautiful than seeing one of those aging lockers with all the wheels stacked on top of each other.
The smell in there is incredible.
It really is.
That's where the term comes from, Cuban wheel.
Do you want to explain wheels?
Okay. Basically, it's how when they age the cigars, they age them 50 at a time, and it looks like a wheel. It's, I guess, 7 across the top. I forget what the numbers are. 7 in the middle. Starts with 5, 6, 7. Anyway, that's what we call a wheel.
Okay. I thought that was worth knowing.
Absolutely.
Informative.
Glad I knew what it was.
That was very informative, Paul, and we look forward to your next installment.
I'm not going to be in the factory next time.
Oh, well, don't give it away.
I'm not.
Don't give it away.
Your cigar's right in front of your face.
Are you going to be in the accounting room?
No, I never go in the accounting. I'm banned from the.
What about the cellophane?
All right.
Well,
What about it?
He's not done with the cigar.
I thought he was.
Well, I'm done for today.
You're done for today.
Well, I was
Okay.
going to say, one time I was in a factory, and it had to be the worst job in the whole factory, is putting the cellophane on. It just looks so mundane. And
Yeah, it is
boring.
mundane. Believe me, it is mundane.
Anyway.
Well, I think we should talk about our next subject. What's your favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Say
Well,
again.
that was quick.
Shawshank Redemption.
It is one of the best.
Hard to
films.
top
It is
that.
one of the
Best
movie.
ever.
Best film.
Godfather trilogy is in a whole other category,
That's true.
Yeah.
but without a doubt, Shawshank.
Anybody else?
Your favorite?
Does it have to be cigar related? I
No.
mean, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I love movies. Oh, you know what my favorite movie is? Too Long Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Who won the
I
food?
can watch that movie
Which one,
6
dude?
times in a row. Okay, so that's my favorite movie. And they smoke in that movie.
Isn't that the movie where Wesley Snipes
Yes.
and Patrick
Patrick
Swayze dress up as
Swayze
women?
and John Leguizamo.
Like
He's
Leguizamo.
funny. Leguizamo.
All right, let's move this along now.
He's actually the one that only looked like a girl.
Paul?
Okay. I like Predator. Strange as that would
Wow.
sound. First of all, I like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Cigar smoker.
And he smokes during that movie.
Yes, he does.
But I just like everything about that movie. I can see it over and over again. It hypnotizes him. And there's one scene that just, when he's ready to battle the alien, and he climbs up on the cliff and holds up the torch and just bellows at the top of his lungs to call out the alien and say, "I'm ready to fight you." I just think that's fantastic.
Is that what you do at 1 in the morning when you light your cigar?
Well, I did until I woke up my wife and she beat me about the head and said,
Rob,
I'm
I'm
asleep,
anxious to
damn it.
hear yours.
The demo
crew.
crew.
I wonder why.
No, mine is Witness for the Prosecution.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Ooh,
Go back,
that's a classic.
1957.
I have 2 statements before we go to our mystery reviewer. 12 Angry Men,
That's my second
great
favorite.
movie.
and any movie with Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, okay.
Almost, and I've seen some schlock ones
Yeah.
he made too, but
didn't matter.
with him in it, it's great.
Absolutely.
Mystery reviewer?
You stole my thunder. Casablanca.
That is a
Casablanca.
fantastic movie.
Well, that's
Really
a great
is.
choice. I think it's time now for us to review the SLR Generation 2.
Okay.
And we need to be a little brief on this.
Talk fast.
Okay, it's medium to full. I put it out. Wasn't happy with it.
He's tough. Tough.
No, it's got to me, a cigar has to grab you from the beginning. Doesn't grab you from the beginning, just lose me. I know you got to get to the middle, but it loses you before you get to the middle. I wish I could say I really liked it, but I don't. So.
Scott?
I very much enjoy this cigar. I like it
I knew
a lot.
you.
I like it a lot better than the original SLRs. Very smooth. maybe it's my palate today, but it's very sweet, and I'm getting some of those hints of chocolate and caramel from it.
Well,
What do you get? The leather and dried fruit?
I kind of got
Actually,
that
the
in the
dried
beginning.
fruit I do. I get
I
a little
got
bit
that
of
in the
currant
beginning
from
when
that.
I lit it. It tasted like dried fruit.
I got very little of anything out of this.
Really?
Wow.
It's got a tiny bit of spice. Other than that, I find it absent.
Thank you, Paul.
oh, we got a really divided
I
panel
love
here
this.
today.
This is great.
Rob,
Yeah, it
I
is.
know what you're going to say.
I love the cigar.
I know
Oh
what
my
you're going to
God.
say.
I smoke the cigar all the time on the golf course. It's very relaxing, very smooth. I find it complex. It changes for me in each stage of me smoking it. I definitely get the leather. I get the caramel and the chocolate in this. I don't know why. Maybe this is your 12th cigar today. I don't know. But
No, I'm not up to 12 yet.
No, I
but
think it's a fantastic cigar.
Mystery smoker?
Well, I definitely get the chocolate and the caramel. It's got a lot of body, and it changes as you smoke it. It's a good cigar. I recommend it. It's a good cigar.
My opinion is it's a great cigar. I get a nice sweet finish off of it.
Yeah.
It's a definite medium bodied. No harassment on the tongue whatsoever. It's burning half decently. I think it's modestly priced.
It is. I was just going to say, yeah, it's very well priced.
It's not
in the
not badly
$6,
priced at all.
$6 to $7 range.
Yeah, I think it's a very good cigar.
Yeah.
does anybody else find it a little stingy with the smoke?
No,
No, I don't
absolutely
mean
not.
that it's hard to draw. I
No,
just
no.
mean it doesn't
I
put
was
out a
sitting
lot
here
of smoke.
thinking. I'm looking at art, and it's like
No, I'm getting
there's
bellows.
tons of smoke.
Bellows of smoke.
There's a lot of smoke in this cigar.
I'm not getting a lot.
I don't know,
That's why
I don't know why.
taste it.
The ratings will be interesting then.
Yeah,
Yes,
ratings
they
will be
will.
I think it's time to rate it. 1 to 5. Uh-oh, here it comes. I can't listen.
Oh, okay, I'll say a 3. I was going to go a little lower, but I'll do a 3.
Wow, a little lower than a 3.
Scott?
I mean, I didn't
4.5. I
even
very
get
much
to the
enjoy this
middle.
cigar.
I mean,
4.5 you give it?
Yeah.
of course.
Uh-oh, here comes another one.
2.5.
Wow.
There's just nothing
Wow.
for me. There's just
I knew
nothing
it.
there.
I knew it. I should have went
Wow.
lower.
I
should
totally
have went
disagree.
lower.
Wow.
I give this a 4.25.
Mystery Man?
I agree with Rob. 4.25.
I mean, I got to tell you, it rings my chimes. I give it a 4.50.
Wow.
Ooh, is
There
that
you
the
go.
highest one?
So we have a total score of about, let's see,
Throw out the
Paul
outline.
brings us all the way
3.4.
down.
boy, you're about 375. Yeah.
Which seems
better.
about
Much
right
better.
for
Wait a
the
minute,
cigar, right?
I think you should have rated it higher because it has 2 bands.
I know, right?
yeah.
But look at the bands.
And
it's not.
pretty.
It's
It's
not
like
really
Christmas
making
time.
me
Look
dance.
at that.
It's not.
Wow, it's a great band.
But that box is. I love the box.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
that's
Do
important.
we know what we're doing next week?
Yes, next week.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
I was very excited about
I'm
what
happy.
we're doing next
I'm
week.
happy.
Next week we're going to be talking about the Ashen VSG, one of my favorites.
Oh, not a bad cigar.
Of course, we're going to have our segment with Paul. We're going to talk about what goes into our decision and what cigars we smoke and what cigars we buy.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then
Yeah.
finally, we're going to talk more about what a sun-grown wrapper is.
I can't wait.
Sad to say, very sad to say, because I really enjoyed this show. We're out of time, so it's
Don't go fast.
don't have to speed through it, but you know, a nice,
Say it very
lingering,
slow.
leisurely goodbye.
Bye bye for now.
So long. Farewell.
Smoke happy, smoke often.
Ciao for now.
Mystery Man,
Ciao for now. That's what I meant.
See everybody next week.
shalom. And
Bye, everybody.
thank you.